Good morning, and welcome back to another episode of McDuffie Builds. So the day before I'm taking the trip to Raleigh to go work on Reagan's car, I actually picked her up a hood from the local pull apart. If you don't know what pull apart is, it is a junkyard where you can go and basically find anything that you may need for your project car, or maybe your car got in an accident and you want to go get a used part pretty cheap or inexpensive. This is a great place to look. So I would go to pullapart.com and definitely try and see if they're one in your local area. They are my go-to place for everything from my truck to my Kia, as well as now you see I'm working on Reagan's car. I found this hood for, I think it was $75 or $76. I watched a YouTube video. I've never done any type of body work before, but as you can see, the hood that I got has a little quarter size type paint chip in it. And I think Reagan was already self-conscious about her hood being beat up. So I'll insert some clips here of what her current hood looks like. But her hood was beat up, and so I wanted to make sure that as I'm replacing it with this new one, that I make it look as almost perfect as possible. I will say one of the things that I noticed after doing this is that I made that square too big, and it made for a lot more work and wet sanding in the long run. But again, this is my first time, and for you all who are returners here, you know all we do on McDuffie Builds is break stuff, fix it, and break it again. And so I'm learning as I go. But I was actually surprised at how easy this process was. I got all of the materials from O'Reilly's and Walmart, and then my wife had some clear coat from another project that she used it for. So that's probably not the right clear coat to use. But again, this is my 16-year-old daughter's car, and I'm not about to spend a bunch of money on a car that she may not have much longer. But I at least wanted it to make it look like as close to perfect as possible. So that's what you'll see me prepping and getting ready to do here in this clip. After I wiped it down with some alcohol, I am now taking some just water in a spray bottle, and I'm taking 600 grit sandpaper to kind of sand down any rough edges that may be left off from the paint. And again, I don't know exactly what I'm doing, but I watched a YouTube video before I started this process. And so I'm trying to make it as even as possible. And I was actually surprised at how easy it was to do this. I think for me, just a beginner's tip is just making sure that you don't sand it down too much, because that's going to make what they call a low spot in the paint. And in the long run, that may be more work for you. But you can see here, I'm just cleaning it up with a towel that I had lying around and just testing it to see what how even or how smooth it is there. So I'm going back for another round, and I think I may have done it like 3 or 4 times just to make sure that it was as smooth as possible. I'm going to speed this clip up so y'all see the entire process, but I don't want to drag it out too long. So I'm cleaning the spot up again, and then making sure that I'm going back with any alcohol to make sure that any grease spots, oil stains, anything that may have come off while I was sanding it originally, making sure that I get that all cleaned up. I'm going inside the truck. You'll see in the background there, looking for a screwdriver so I could pop the cap on my paint. And I got the paint from O'Reilly's. I think I might have paid $18 for it or something like that. And I actually looked up the color of it. My daughter drives a Honda Civic, and so they actually had the white Honda paint, touch up paint, right inside my local O'Reilly's. And so went in there, grabbed it. Right here, I'm reading the instructions to make sure that I know what I'm doing. And as you guessed it, I don't know what I'm doing at all, but we're going to figure it out. The instructions said to do several light coats, and because I've never done it before, I'm not know. I don't know if I'm putting down enough paint or not. But I did the first coat very, very light, and then the instructions are to let it sit for about 10 to 12 minutes before going back with any additional coats. I noticed that after the first coat that I was getting spray paint on the back of the truck bed, which is not a huge issue, but I said let me put down just a plastic bag or something to kind of catch some of that paint. This is the second coat, and I'm looking at it like, dang, I might actually know what I'm doing a little bit. You can see on camera that that spot is starting to disappear. I saved y'all the trouble of watching me do that 3 or 4 more times and jump straight to peeling off that blue painter's tape to reveal how much work I had to do to sand down. Like I said a few seconds ago, I definitely made my little box there, the work area, too big, and you'll see that I got a perfectly square box that's got to be sanded down because I didn't take that in consideration when I was taping off the area. So the instructions on the bottle or the can said to let it sit for 30 minutes before sanding or applying clear coat. So that's exactly what I did. And now I'm just sanding it down to make sure that any overspray or that rectangle or square box that I made, I'm getting all of that extra paint off. Again, this is my first time doing it, and I did cut some corners. I'm sure y'all are gonna probably say in the comment section that I should have masked off the entire hood before working on that small little area. Y'all, like I say all the time on this channel, I'm just learning as I go. But in this particular situation, I opted not to do that because, again, this is going on my daughter's car and it's already been in a wreck. And so this is just her training vehicle. At some point, she's going to get a newer vehicle, but this is just so she doesn't have to go around with a beat up Honda and be embarrassed about her car. So this is not going to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but it definitely will be better than what she currently has. During this process, I remembered that I had a block in my storage room, and I said, I understand why people go and get sanding blocks because it makes it a lot easier to sand down things, especially wet sanding for an extended period of time. So this block was a lifesaver. But you'll see me here going to town on this hood, and I probably got a little too trigger happy with it because I actually enjoyed this part of it probably the most. So I'm sanding down the high spots and some of that overspray on certain parts of the hood, but I think I sanded it down too much. So you'll see at the end of this clip that I actually had to go back and just put one more layer of paint on. Gonna jump to the reveal. Again, it's not gonna be perfect, but I think I did a pretty good job for my first time. Now we're gonna jump back to the part of the video when we go to Zebulon. And there's Ellery. Ellery, say hello. Ellery, you gonna say hello to the camera? Say good morning. Can you do like that? Alright, you know, it's early. I'll check back in with her a little bit later. Harper got hungry, so we had to stop at Chick-fil-A. We got you something coming too. That poor baby fighting for her life back there, just nodding back and forth. It's so cute. We made it, y'all. Yeah. Reagan, say hello to my YouTube.
Hello, YouTube.
All right. One of the things that's important for me is that whenever I'm working on the vehicle, I want the girls to be around just so they can learn. I'm not asking them to do a lot, but you'll see I have my 16-year-old here assisting with just making sure that the hood don't fall on the windshield or do anything crazy like that. And I think she may never work on a car in her life, but at least she'll know kind of what to expect when it's time for her to be out on her own and she's got to make some calls or go to the mechanic shop, and nobody will be able to take advantage of her because she's been a part of the process. So I think that's super important. When I pulled up for today, I told Reagan that the hood would probably be the easiest thing that we did. And as you all seen, it probably took me about 3 minutes or so to do this. Hoods aren't super easy. It's just 4 bolts that's holding that thing on. And so, yeah, we were able to get that done fairly quickly.
Come on, Ellery.
All right, Reagan. All right, let's test this thing. Test this puppy out. Pretty good.
So as I mentioned, this vehicle has been in an accident before. Reagan rear-ended someone about 6 months ago, but my dad had used some of his auto body experience to kind of straighten the frame out a bit. But as you see here, that hood does not want to latch. And so what I noticed is that you have to pull the frame forward a little bit and you will eventually get it to latch. Now we are moving on to the headlights. On the other side of the vehicle, Reagan actually ran into the person on the right side of her car, and well, the driver's side. and that headlight has been cracked. So every month she's got to go out and get a new headlight or bulbs for the headlight because rocks and things are kicking back as she's driving. And so we decided to just go ahead and replace both headlights. But you see me looking up a video here because I couldn't remember exactly where the bolts were located on this particular model. To the engineers over at Honda, I don't ever know why you would make the Civic the way you did. You got to take off the whole bumper just to change out the headlight. Now, in my defense, I've only taken off the headlights of Bluey, the Ford F-150, but you got to take off the bumper, and then there's this headlight bracket that you got to take out, and it's like 5 or 6 screws before you can even get the headlight out. But eventually, with perseverance and a little help of YouTube University, we were able to get that thing out.
All right, come on, dude. Premium. Let it go now. Let it go.
I want to make sure that all of the previous bulbs will fit into this new housing. I got these headlights from Amazon, and some of the reviews were saying that the headlights didn't fit. So before we completely unplugged everything and got it all taken apart, I wanted to make sure that they would fit into the new housing. And you see here again, Reagan is helping in this process because I think it's important for her to know how to change out these types of things in the event that she ever needs to. But she may never need to.
Oh, hold on.
But if she does, she'll know how to.
Stupid.
I had to get my needle nose pliers because there was a little clip that keeps all 3 bulbs connected to the actual headlight housing. So you'll see me here breaking that free and getting Reagan's assistance with that.
There you go. You getting dirty. All right, let me see the light she got then. Why do you get 2 sets?
Because it was cheaper to get 2 sets.
One is for what?
One's heavy, one's light.
Oh, okay. How am I supposed to know which one is what? Huh?
So now we are just putting everything back together. I took these headlights that Reagan got. I don't even know what brand they were, y'all. She said she got them from Amazon. My only prayer is that they last because they were literally like some knockoff brand headlights. And so if we had to replace them anytime soon, we would probably have to undo all the work that we just done to even access the bulbs and the housing and everything. Again, Honda, count your days, because why would you ever, ever, ever make a design like this?
I gotta take Yuki out on the town today. The world has to see this. This is beautiful. Yuki ain't even look this good when we first got her. Beautiful. Our Brad had Yuki for almost 9 months.
Yeah, it's about to be a year.
Debo,
Those look good. All right, try the lights one more time. Let me make sure they're working. Yeah, they're working. You can turn them off. All right.
Debo, get out.
All right, moving on to the last thing of the day is the brake pads. And y'all, to be honest, this was what the original request was. The hood and the brake pads. The headlights was something that I wanted to do because I knew that she was going to keep spending money replacing them if we didn't get that housing fixed. And so brake pads I've been doing since I was probably 15. This is such an easy job to do. You can do it in your sleep. As long as you got a 12 millimeter socket and a jack, then you could probably do this with your eyes closed. And so, yep, I'm doing that. I took it all apart, and then I actually had waited to go get them. So you'll see us go run over to, I think we went to AutoZone or Advance somewhere to actually get the brake pads because I did not get them before making the trip down to see them. So y'all saw we just finished up doing the headlights, the hood, and I took off the tire to do the brakes. We gotta go get them, but the whole gang is here. Reagan, Harper, Elle, say hello. She smiled at y'all this time. Ah, look at her. All right, we'll be right back. Now that we are back from the parts store, you see me just putting some grease on the brakes. I actually used this grease for another project, and I didn't realize how much I was ordering because I ordered it offline. But it's actually come in handy. I had to do my wife's brakes recently, and I used it, and now I am doing Reagan's brakes, and yeah. So a heck of a buy for like $5-6 from the part house. But yeah, I've already taken everything apart as you all saw, and now I'm just putting it all back together. I would say this is what they call, I think it's called a pad swap or pad stick or something like that, where I'm actually not changing out the brakes and the rotors. I am only doing just the brake pads. Save your comments in the comment section for what I should be doing and what I shouldn't be doing. I I know what I'm doing here. Again, I've been doing brake pads for since I was 15, so the better part of 20 years. And I'm going to do this every time until there's time or a reason to change the rotors and the brake pads. And in this particular case, that was not needed. So I'm using the brake caliber tool that you can get from any part house, Amazon, wherever. It's really helpful when you need to push the brake fluid back up the line so you can put on the new brake pads. And so this really saves time. If you don't have one of these, you can also use a C-clamp. I also have one of those as well. But I actually like this little tool. It's easy to throw in my tool bag and keep it moving. So I'm just putting everything back together. You see me tightening up those brake caliber screws. The last person who did it, I felt like they put a death grip on it. I don't choose to do that. I mean, I'll tighten them up pretty snug, but I don't think they need to be ultra tight to where the next man or woman has to fight for their life to kind of get that thing off. You'll see my 1-year-old, almost 2-year-old here grabbing stuff out of the tool bag to play with, and I'm fussing at her because she tried to pick up the old brake pads and got grease and dirt all over her hands. But I wouldn't have it any other way. Again, they're out there learning and just kind of helping Dad as he changes out these pieces. So pretty cool to have them there all day with me and kind of spend some time with their older sister Reagan. But we're going to finish this job up, and then I will show you all the final reveal with the new lights, the hood, and getting the bumper and everything placed back where it should be.
All right, so we just finished. We had dinner early dinner with the girls. Just got some gas from Sheets, and now we're about to hit the road. We'll see y'all back in Charlotte. New headlights, new hood. Tried to pull this front frame out some, but again, this car was in an accident. Little fender bender about 6 months ago. But I would say overall, once it gets washed up, it should be good to go. Well, y'all, it is officially 7:07 and we are back in Charlotte. It's been a fun day spending time with Reagan. Reagan got to see her sisters. We were able to get her car fixed and up and running, give it a little facelift. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for tuning in and coming on this journey with us. And we'll catch you in the next one. Bye.